excited about this broadcast of hope that we're going to be doing. I have a special guest with me today. Many of you may know him. You remember, hopefully, you know Josh McClain. You there, Josh?
I'm here.
All right. Thank you for joining us today. I hope that you're doing well and your family's staying safe.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's a privilege.
Not a problem. Um, so before we get started, I'm going to ask you some riddles. Are you good at riddles?
I don't believe so. No.
I know I'm terrible at them. So I'll give you an easy one to start off with, okay? I'll give you.
Okay, that'd be good.
All right. So, what has to be broken before you can use it?
An emergency pull down fire thingy.
No, no. It is an egg. Sorry, I'm really loud there.
That was the easy one.
That was the easy one. That was easy. All right.
Okay.
What about this one? Let's see. What is always in front of you but can't be seen?
Always in front of you, but can't be seen. Hmm. Can I have a hint?
Uh, well, it's always in front of you. uh,
Hmm.
it's the opposite of past.
Oh, there you go. The future.
Yes, yes, you did good. All right. So we're going to just stay in the easy ones for you. Okay. What month of the year has 28 days?
February.
No, all of them.
Oh, I knew that one.
That's great. Oh, here we go. One more. I don't know. I'm
All
loving
right.
this.
This is redemption right here. This is redemption.
What can you break even if you never pick it up or touch it? What can you break even if you never pick it up or touch it?
A promise?
Yes. Very good.
Ooh. Told you, redemption right there.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to give you another one. Okay. You ready?
We should probably quit while I'm ahead right now.
We can't let it go
Or
to
is,
your head.
or is this bonus round?
It's bonus round. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. What gets wet while drying? What
Towel.
gets wet? Yes. It's pretty
That's
awesome.
right.
We won't give you any more.
Okay.
Uh,
Thank you. You
no,
just you're just trying to give me a good dose of humility.
something like that. Something like that. Hey, I do appreciate you coming on here today. Uh, we live in different times. I don't know how it is up there in Hagerstown. Everything kind of different.
Yeah, I would say there's quite a bit of difference, and there's quite a bit of similarities as well. The people in Western Maryland are kind, and a lot the geography is similar as well. We live in an area that has quite a bit of agriculture. The mountains aren't far away. You can see them. They're not as pretty as Tennessee, but what can you say?
So I know it's got to be discouraging to you when you're meeting in a school because you just got this church plant going on. So when you're meeting in a
Yeah.
school and you're not able to go, how is that affecting you?
Well, so yeah, we're a young church. We're 15 months old, and we're not a very large church either. And so our time together, and we only meet once a week on Sunday mornings at this point. And so our time together is pretty important to us. It's paramount. Sunday mornings are very special. We gather, obviously, like all Christians do. We gather around the Word and sing and pray and preach and fellowship with each other, and it's a huge encouragement. And I say it often as we gather on Sunday mornings that my heart often will grow cold during the week, and when I gather back with the Lord's people, that fire is rekindled, and it's something I need. It's something I long for, and so just personally, it's been difficult, and then also as a collective body, it's been difficult as well. I long to see our people and to shepherd them, walk with them, encourage them, and hear what the Lord is doing in their lives, and encourage them. You know, Hebrews 10:24-25 stuff. So
Wow.
it's difficult.
Well, what are you doing to overcome that difficulty?
Well, like most folks out there, we're taking advantage of uh, technology just as we are right now. So we're using different platforms like Zoom, FaceTime, Facebook, things like that. So I wasn't entirely, well, I guess it wasn't dishonest, it just wasn't completely, complete in my information. We do only meet collectively as a body on Sunday morning, but in addition to that, we have life groups that meet. Life groups are just smaller groups, usually around 8 to 10 folks, and they meet in homes. Of course, that's we're not able to do that. They meet weekly, and they're sermon based, so they discuss the text that we are preaching that week in the sermon. We disseminate questions that are given to the life group leader, and he's able to guide the conversation through the text and through the sermon. So they're not able to meet, but those have been transferred into Zoom or some similar platform. And we also have discipleship groups, which are smaller groups, usually 3 to 4 or 5, um, same gender, and those also meet weekly. And those are, just like everything else, unable to meet. We've asked them, even though I guess we kind of could still skate through the governor's guidelines. We're still asking that life groups and D groups not meet face to face, but that they go through, some platforms such as this. So we're using those types of devices, and I mean most folks are. We're posting our sermons online. We're not singing online or anything like that, but we put together a life, or I'm sorry, a worship packet that we make available on our website and through social media that encourages families or individuals to walk through, if you will, and use a liturgy. So there's songs and prayers and things like that that are in there to help guide, um, the participants or the congregants through the service, if you will. So
That's pretty neat. That's really neat. Yeah, I'm getting used to this Zoom stuff myself. Sometimes it can be frustrating. Uh, even I think a lot of pastors are going through this right now to where they don't really know what to do. And so we're trying everything new. Seems like everything's new to us. And so I've even had to get over some difficulty and discouragement myself, not in my own power, but by what God's done in my life and what God is doing in my life. So, what is God doing in your life right now to show Himself faithful during all this time?
sure. Well, how much time do you have? I don't say that lightly. I really it's it's been just nothing short of amazing to walk through this season and to also face discouragement. and but at the same time see the faithfulness of God in His people. I think of I can't remember where it's at. I think it's in one of the epistles, but Paul says that basically he has chains, but the gospel does not have chains, and so it's not the same situation. I'm not in a prison, although sometimes it feels like it. The other cellmates, my children, they're pretty rough sometimes, pretty brutal. But I'm not in a prison like Paul. But and there are times that I can, really feel like our hands are tied as a pastor, as Christians. But at the same time, I've been able to see lots of fruit in our neighborhood, just gospel conversations, opportunities to encourage folks and let the light of our light, of our family of the gospel shine in our neighborhood. That's been pretty cool to see. And yeah, so that's one way. Another way I would say is God's just used this opportunity to reveal in my heart sinfulness, which might not really be, might not initially seem like that's an encouragement or a good thing, but it really has been a huge encouragement to me to see that God is still in the process of sanctifying me and growing me into the image of His Son. And so, as I'm kind of cooped up and I'm not one to enjoy those types of things, I like to be out, I like to be moving. There's been some sinfulness and some frustration creep up, and it's been really neat to see the Lord reveal that to me and bring me to a place of repentance and growth through that. So and so these are just some of the ways that I've been encouraged, and I hear reports. As I said, I'm able to use Zoom or FaceTime or something like that to meet with our people on a regular basis, and so 4 or 5 folks, maybe more a week, I'm able to meet with them. And when I do, I I hear similar stories of God just revealing sin, providing gospel conversations and opportunities, and so all these things really they serve to encourage me and remind me that um, I might be chained in a sense, but the gospel is not changed. Our chain it goes on; it's not hindered or bound up. And not only that, but also Romans chapter 8, how God uses, good things and bad things to bring glory to Himself and good to His people. And so that's these reminders are just they're vital for me to hear and see, and I've been encouraged by them. So
That's an interesting outlook on that. How God reveals sin in your life during this time. I've never thought of it that way,
yeah,
but that's definitely interesting because our response is or could be anger or frustration or bitterness, and
yeah,
we have to be careful that that stuff does not creep up in our life because we are prone to sin. We're prone to fall, and so that is I appreciate that outlook. What other ways has God revealed Himself to you during this time? Even right.
sure. Well, I kind of alluded to it a moment ago, but I'm seeing personal growth in my own life. But um, as I am able to check in with some of our members, it, I'm hearing similar stories. Just and so that is just really encouraging. What it the role of a pastor is very important to me, and being able to spend time with our sheep, if you will, or other members. But and so not being able to do that has been difficult. But God just providing opportunities and really demonstrating to me that while the role of a pastor or an under shepherd is important, it does not replace or in any way circumvent the role of the chief shepherd in the role in the life of the church. And so just seeing that God is still faithful to His people, whether I can preach to them in person or not, um, and just seeing that God can reveal sin in their life and encourage them and spur along growth in their hearts and families is just it's been cool. So that's a big thing. Another thing is just seeing our young church come together. This is there's a lot of churches out there that have been in existence, here and even in the states for what 250 years or something, close to that, maybe even more. And So they've had lots of time to prepare and kind of get a baseline. As a young church, we're 15 months into this, and 16 months, and then this is sprung on us. And I think really I'm pleased with our church to see how the leadership is stepping up. We have life group leaders and D group leaders who are really caring for their members and reaching out to folks who were maybe just attending and weren't really locked in to the church or really attached in any committed way, but they're still reaching out to them and encouraging them and meeting some needs there. And so that's really been beautiful. It's been cool and encouraging to see. So
Hey, what do you think the overall? I know we don't know the mind of God, but what do you think the overwhelming outcome is going to be when we finally get back together in church all over the states, all over the world? Do you think people are going to
yeah.
have a stronger desire for Christ, a stronger desire to be together?
Well, it's been said that absence makes the heart grow fonder. And then it's also been said that, in addition to that, that it also can make the heart wander. So I think that really we're going to see both of those. We're going to see the true church. I think they're going to bounce back from this. I think we're going to be ready to meet, to see one another, and to get back to it. I think there is a. I've even sensed the revival that has been stirring in even in our church, in my own life, and I've seen it in others as well. I've seen it on Facebook and social media and other areas. So I think there is a stirring of affection that is mounting, if you will. But I also think that there's a likelihood that this will cause some folks who were a part of the church, at least attenders or maybe members, but not really true Christians, maybe to fall away. And I don't know that that is. I don't believe that that's necessarily a bad thing. Um, so yeah, those are just some of my. I didn't really thought through that a whole lot, but I think both of those two uh, scenarios are true.
I would agree with you. I've never heard the one that makes you wonder, but that does make sense. My prayer for this is that God does something, that only God can do, and He reveals to everybody that He's in absolute control, and that everything's going to work out for His honor and glory. But my prayer is that people see God and want a relationship with Him because of all of this.
Yeah,
So that is what we're praying for, and I know you're praying for people there in Hagerstown.
yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah, we recognize just the other day we were talking. I think it was at dinner or family worship or something like that, and we were talking about how God. It was Saturday. Yeah, we were just having a discussion about this as a family. We were talking about how God often uses things like this to bring His people to Himself and to a place of revival and desperation. I mean, a virus, a pandemic that is affecting the entire world, the earth, the entire earth, is nothing really is more effective at demonstrating to us that we are feeble, broken people who will one day face death. So Solomon talked about it's better to go to a funeral than it is to a party. Well, why? Well, because at a party we can be distracted and we can be overcome with our desires, sinful desires. But at a funeral we're reminded that this is the way of life, this is where it ends, and we want to be prepared. And so it begins to cause us to ask those deep questions. And I think universally people are beginning to ask questions, no matter what language or culture or class they're a part of, they're asking these deep questions about their own life. And so I think it's going to be an effective gut check. And well, yeah, I'm praying with you that God would continue to draw people to Himself, and that He would use this opportunity, and that the church would walk circumspectly, that we would be looking for opportunities, not just to pray, but to actually be active in our communities. So
And my prayer is that the church, at least our church here and every church, basically, but especially my church, I'm praying that we have more opportunities to be the hands and feet of Jesus, because people are going to be
yeah,
looking for an answer, and we have the answer. We just got to get out
Yeah, amen. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, I think when I think of people who are struggling with anxiety or hope, I often find comfort in Psalms chapter 3. I don't have it pulled up here, but I'd like to turn there quickly. Um, this is this is just so much joy and rest for me. But here David is writing, and he says in verse 1 of Psalm 3, he says, "O Lord, how many are my foes? Many are rising against me. Many are saying of my soul, there is no salvation for him in God." Um, so that's a pretty bleak situation that David's facing here. And there's we won't get into all the details as to what's causing him or bringing him to this place, but there's some anxiety, there's some fear in his life. But he's reminded in verses 3 and 4, and he speaks it, "Hey, oh Lord, you are a shield about me. You're my glory, and you're the lifter of my head." And he says, I cried out to the Lord, and he answered me from his holy hill. And this is my favorite part. I love this part. So he recognizes there's a lot of bad things going on, but he recognizes that God is his shield, his protector. God is his glory. And in verse 5, it says, I laid down and took a nap. And he says, I woke up and surprise, the Lord sustained me. The
Hmm.
Lord kept me alive. And so you may not have your your son trying to kill you because he wants to take your rightful place as king, but maybe you have a virus, or maybe it's not even the virus that's going to get you. Maybe, and I think while the virus is a real threat, I think anxiety and fear is possibly a greater threat. And here, David is reminding us that, hey, we can lay down and take a nap. We shouldn't be foolish. We shouldn't not wash our hands. We shouldn't ignore what the professionals are telling us and what our government officials are telling us. But at the same time, the CDC, uh, WHO, or our local government or national government, they are not our protector. They're not our shield. They've been given in a sense, by God in a way that complements His providence and sovereignty. But at the end of the day, Yahweh is our sustainer. He's our glory. He's the lifter of our head. And I think right now for the people of God, one of the ways that we can shine a light is to say what David said here. Um, that God, you are shield, you're our protector, and I'm going to rest in that. So that's one way we can really testify to the power of our God right now, as the people of God universally. So,
I love Psalm that or Psalm 3. It's a good psalm. We can go to sleep tonight knowing He's in control. That's good.
amen.
Well,
Indeed.
thank you for sharing that verse with us. And Josh will be praying for you. I appreciate your friendship and praying that your church does well through this. And if we can be any help to you, don't hesitate to call me. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Your friendship means a lot to me, as you know. So
All right, buddy. Well, you have a good one. And thank you so much again for being
uh,
with us. We'll
yeah,
see you.
yep. Thank you.